The science of raising thriving kids. Secrets every parent should know. Parenting is often described as part art, part instinct. But what if I told you science has a lot to say about how to raise kids who truly thrive? The latest research is unveiling fascinating secrets to nurturing resilience, intelligence, and happiness in children, and some of these insights might just surprise you. How to 1. The power of play. It turns out that playtime isn't just for fun. Neuroscientists have discovered that unstructured play enhances brain development. When kids engage in imaginative play, they're practicing critical thinking, problem solving, and social skills that are essential for navigating the adult world. Play is the child's first classroom. 2. The magic of growth mindset. Remember the famous words of Thomas Edison: "I haven't failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Instilling this kind of mindset in your child, the belief that effort leads to improvement, has been shown to promote resilience and success. Research by psychologist Carol Dweck has demonstrated that kids who see challenges as opportunities for growth are more likely to persist in the face of difficulties. 3. The gift of grit. It's not just about being smart, it's about being tough. Psychologist Angela Duckworth coined the term grit to describe a powerful blend of passion and perseverance. Teaching kids to pursue long-term goals, even in the face of setbacks, can be more important than any natural talent. 4. Emotional intelligence, the game changer. Helping children identify and manage their emotions, known as emotional intelligence, can be even more important than academic skills in predicting future success. Studies show that emotionally intelligent kids tend to have stronger friendships, better coping mechanisms, and greater life satisfaction. 5. The science of sleep. Sleep isn't just important, it's crucial. Research reveals that sleep directly impacts memory, learning, and emotional regulation. Making sure your child gets enough shut-eye is one of the easiest ways to support their development. 6. Curiosity, the secret sauce. Encouraging a sense of wonder in your child fuels their intellectual development. When kids are curious, they're more likely to explore, ask questions, and develop a love for learning that lasts a lifetime. 7. The importance of connection. Strong, supportive relationships form the foundation for thriving. Neuroscience tells us that a deep connection with a caring adult, whether it's a parent, teacher, or mentor, promotes brain development and emotional resilience. In fact, these relationships are as essential to a child's growth as food and shelter. Parenting is full of mysteries, but science offers a compass to help us guide our children through the complexities of life. By fostering play, growth mindset, emotional intelligence, grit, and curiosity, and by nurturing deep connections, we can set our kids on the path to not just surviving, but truly thriving. Scope, a science-backed approach to parenting. Parenting advice is everywhere. Books, talk shows, family members, even strangers are eager to share their opinions. But with so much advice swirling around, how do you know what really works? This course cuts through the noise by drawing on decades of scientific research to reveal what truly enhances a child's development. In this course, you'll discover evidence-based strategies to create an ideal learning environment for your child, from infancy through adolescence. You'll explore questions like, can you actually teach a baby to read? What types of games boost brain development at different ages? How do you discipline effectively? How much screen time is too much? From selecting the right teachers to understanding how diet affects brain and body, the course dives into the science behind raising healthy, thriving children. Each of the 24 lectures provides between 3 to 10 actionable tips for parents, all supported by careful research. You won't just learn what to do. You'll understand why these tips work through the methods, data, and reasoning behind them. Along the way, you'll gain deep insights into the fascinating journey of child development. From helpless newborns to inquisitive toddlers, all the way to socially adept teenagers, each stage is unique and full of wonder. Key topics include the surprising cognitive abilities of infants, the essential role of sleep and nutrition, and early language development, including the benefits of teaching sign language before speech. We'll also explore discipline, parenting styles, and how children learn differently from animals. Unlike behaviorist theories that compare kids to rats, this course emphasizes the value of authoritative parenting, resulting in happier, more successful children. Academic development is another focal point, with lectures on reading, writing, math, and memory. You'll learn why developing number sense early on is more critical than memorizing math facts, and how Montessori methods can be adapted for use at home. Modern-day concerns, like the impact of educational television and video games, are also addressed, providing nuanced guidance depending on the child's age and the media in question. Social skills are crucial too, not just for your child's happiness, but for society's future. This course encourages parents to become parent scientists, tracking their children's development to uncover patterns and progress. But remember, your child isn't a science project. The course ends with a reminder of the importance of unstructured, child-directed play, where learning and imagination thrive. By the end, you'll be armed with research-backed strategies that help your child grow into a happy, curious, and thriving individual. Lecture 1, Self-Control, From Tummy Time to Taekwondo. Welcome to our first lecture, where we'll explore the importance of self-control in children, beginning from their earliest developmental stages. By focusing on key activities like tummy time for babies and more structured disciplines like Taekwondo for older children, we can see how physical activity supports both mental and emotional growth. Let's walk through the scientific approach to parenting and why it matters. The importance of scientific parenting advice. As a new parent, you're likely overwhelmed with advice from all directions: family, friends, and countless websites. While some of this advice might be helpful, not all of it is based on solid evidence. That's where science steps in. Science provides us with tested, reliable methods that can guide our decisions in raising children. In this course, we'll be focusing on parenting strategies backed by research, rather than anecdotal advice. Supervised tummy time for babies. Back in the day, most babies were put to sleep on their stomachs. However, since research linked this practice to SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome, parents now typically place babies on their backs to sleep. While this has helped prevent SIDS, it has led to babies crawling later than they used to, though they still reach other motor milestones by 18 months. Tummy time benefits. Tummy time is a simple activity where you place your baby on their stomach for a few minutes daily. This encourages the development of muscles needed for crawling, helping to enhance both physical and cognitive development. How to start. Begin tummy time as early as 3 to 4 months. Babies may fuss at first because their neck muscles are still weak. Be patient and gradually increase the time they spend on their stomachs. In a few weeks, your baby will start to lift their head and may even begin moving forward. Setting up a cruising course for toddlers. As your child starts to crawl and explore, it's time for the next phase, cruising. Cruising happens when babies begin to pull themselves up and walk while holding onto furniture or other objects. Setting up a safe environment. Create a cruising course in your living room by lining up furniture for your baby to hold onto as they practice standing and walking. Remove any sharp objects and always supervise to avoid falls. Encourage about 60 to 90 minutes of active play daily to strengthen their growing muscles. The role of disciplined physical activities. As your child grows, the connection between physical and mental development becomes more apparent. Participating in structured activities, like traditional Taekwondo, can be particularly beneficial. Research on Taekwondo. A 2004 study by Kimberly Lakes and colleagues showed that children participating in Taekwondo improved their focus, emotional regulation, and social behaviors compared to those in regular physical education classes. Teachers also reported better classroom behavior and improved performance in math for those who practiced Taekwondo. Understanding self-control. Mitchell's marshmallow test. The concept of self-control is critical to child development. One famous experiment that illustrates this is Walter Mischel's marshmallow test from the 1970s. In this experiment, children were offered one marshmallow, but told they could get 2 if they waited to eat it. Those who could delay gratification were found to have better life outcomes, including higher academic performance and better emotional health. Why self-regulation matters. Returning to the benefits of Taekwondo, it's not just the physical activity, like breaking boards or kicking, that makes a difference, but the emphasis on self-regulation. Martial arts require children to focus on balance, control, and awareness of both themselves and their opponents. This mental engagement has lasting effects, helping children improve in school and in life. Principles of science in parenting. When you're given advice about parenting, always ask for the evidence behind the claims. Here are some key points to keep in mind. 1. Was the study conducted on a large, diverse group of children? 2. Were the children randomly assigned to groups to avoid bias? 3. How were the outcomes measured? Tips for parents. 1. Tummy time. Start tummy time as early as 2 months to help strengthen muscles for crawling. 2. Physical activity. Encourage older children to participate in disciplined activities like Taekwondo or yoga to develop self-control and mental focus. 3. Cruising course. Set up a cruising course at home for toddlers to encourage safe exploration. Questions to consider. 1. Can too much self-control be a bad thing? Should we allow children to have more freedom to enjoy the impulsiveness of childhood? 2. Should meditation be a part of every child's daily routine, even at a young age like 2 years old? Activities to try. 1. Self-control freeze game. Choose a fun pose for your child to hold, like standing on one leg. Randomly call out freeze throughout the day and see how long they can hold the pose. This helps build self-control and memory. 2. Marshmallow test. Try Mitchell's marshmallow experiment at home. Give your child a desired treat and ask them to wait to eat it for a bigger reward later. Observe their strategies for waiting. This can give insight into their developing self-control. By incorporating these strategies, you can help nurture your child's physical, cognitive, and emotional development in a balanced, scientific way. Lecture 2. Seeing, Hearing, Thinking, and Learning in Infants. Infants are truly fascinating. Despite their helplessness and dependence on adults, babies are constantly observing, processing, and responding to the world around them, often in ways that surprise even seasoned parents. A study by the 0 to 3 organization revealed that about 70% of parents don't believe 6-month-old infants can experience emotions like sadness and fear. However, research shows that even at a very young age, infants are capable of seeing, hearing, thinking, and feeling. Early toilet training. A remarkable example of infants being more capable than many think is early toilet training, sometimes starting as early as 7 months old. While most children in the U.S. are potty trained at 2 or 3 years, some parents have trained their infants much earlier, using techniques like elimination communication to read their baby's signals and rhythms. Though infants don't master it immediately, many learn to control their bladder with their parents' help. However, the long-term impact of this practice has not been thoroughly studied, making it an open question whether all parents should adopt early toilet training. But this example highlights that babies are capable of much more than we typically assume. Babies and math. Addition and subtraction babies as young as 5 months have demonstrated an ability to perform simple arithmetic. In a famous study, infants were shown Mickey Mouse dolls on a small stage. The experimenter would add or remove a doll while hiding the scene, and when the final count of dolls was incorrect, for instance, showing only 1 doll when there should have been 2, the babies looked longer at the display. This suggests that even very young infants are aware of numerical discrepancies, a precursor to basic math reasoning. The exact mental process infants use to perform these tasks isn't clear. They might mentally track objects, noticing when the number of objects doesn't match their expectations. Though we can't say for sure that babies do math in the way adults understand it, their behavior shows advanced cognitive processes at work. Babies' reasoning and understanding of the physical world. Infants' reasoning abilities go beyond math. For example, understanding of solid objects. Babies look longer when they see 2 solid objects pass through each other, indicating they grasp that solid objects can't merge. Gravity. When babies see an object that should fall but doesn't, they also show surprise by looking longer, revealing an early understanding of gravity. Matching sounds to faces. When a baby hears a female voice, they are more likely to look at an image of a woman's face, and the same applies for male voices. This suggests they can connect auditory and visual information from a very young age. Causality. Babies understand that one object should only move if it's physically contacted by another, showing an awareness of basic causality. These findings suggest that even newborns are processing a rich array of information and developing reasoning skills far earlier than traditionally assumed. Providing a rich environment for babies. The first takeaway from this lecture is that parents should provide a rich sensory and social world for their infants. Babies are ready to absorb new information from the moment they are born. While they may not interact with their environment in the same way as older children or adults, their brains are actively processing and learning from their surroundings. Synapse development and brain enrichment. Babies have more brain synapses than adults, and the interconnections between these neurons drive cognitive development. The idea behind many baby toys and programs is that enriching early experiences can enhance brain development. While early stimulation is important, super enrichment won't create a super brain. The synaptic pruning that occurs as children grow is a natural and necessary process, leading to a more efficient brain structure. The second takeaway is that while enrichment is valuable, there's no need to overdo it with high-tech toys or gadgets. There's no evidence that extreme stimulation accelerates brain development. Physical interaction with the environment. Physical interaction is crucial for infants' development. For instance, playing simple games like rolling a ball to a 5 or 6-month-old helps develop motor skills and cognitive abilities. As they practice reaching for and catching moving objects, babies learn to anticipate where objects will be, building early problem-solving and prediction skills. Even from birth, babies move their arms toward objects they see, and by 4 months, they typically can grasp stationary objects. As they grow, their ability to interact with moving objects, like catching a rolling ball, improves. These physical activities are tied to cognitive development. Tips for parents. 1. Provide a rich sensory and social environment from birth. Engage with your baby through conversation, play, and exposure to new sights and sounds. 2. Avoid overstimulating with too many toys or high-tech products. There is no evidence that extreme enrichment leads to better brain development, and it may even cause unnecessary stress for both parent and child. 3. Encourage physical play. Activities like tummy time or rolling a ball help develop motor skills, which are closely linked to cognitive growth. 4. Consider early potty training, but don't feel pressured. Early toilet training, like through elimination communication, can be successful for some families, but it's not necessary for everyone. Question to consider. Do you think if a newborn had all the motor abilities of an older child, they would think like an older child as well? Activity to try. Create and use sticky mittens to help your baby practice reaching and grasping. Use hook and loop tape on mittens and toys to make the game easier for your baby. Suggested reading. The Scientist in the Crib by Gopnik, Meltzoff, and Kuhl. The Diaper-Free Baby by Grosslow. What Babies Can Do DVD by Vishton. Lecture 3. Sleep. Getting Enough Vitamin S. In this lecture, we'll explore the critical role that sleep plays in our lives, especially in children's development. We'll examine how much sleep children need at different ages, look at the benefits of consistent bedtime routines, and share research findings on improving sleep quality. By the end, you'll learn essential tips for promoting better sleep, like establishing a bedtime routine, recognizing signs that your child might need more rest, and limiting screen time before bed. Sleep is essential. Sleep is much more than just resting. It's a time when essential body processes occur. Sleep helps consolidate memories, supports physical growth, and aids in repairing our bodies. Here are some key reasons why sleep is so important. Memory consolidation. Sleep helps strengthen memories and information learned throughout the day. Physical growth. Growth hormones are released during the deepest stages of sleep, crucial for children's growth. Appetite regulation. Sleep also plays a role in regulating hunger hormones, meaning sleep deprivation can lead to increased appetite and long-term health issues. Consistent bedtime routines. Newborn sleep. Newborns don't have a well-defined sleep cycle and are mainly driven by hunger. Their sleep starts to stabilize around 4 months of age, making it an ideal time to start establishing bedtime routines. Breastfeeding. Breastfeeding naturally helps soothe babies to sleep, as breast milk contains tryptophan, an amino acid that promotes melatonin production, aiding in regulating sleep cycles. Swaddling. Improved sleep quality. Swaddling can help infants sleep better by reducing startle responses, which often wake babies during sleep. Although it may seem confining, newborns actually find comfort in the tightness of swaddling, as it mimics the womb's environment. Bedtime rituals and circadian rhythms. A consistent bedtime ritual helps establish healthy sleep patterns. Activities like reading books, playing soft music, and bath time at regular intervals reinforce the body's 24-hour circadian rhythm. Avoid screens. Avoid exposing your child to electronic screens, TV, phones, tablets, at least an hour before bedtime. The bright light from screens can interfere with the brain's natural sleep signals by tricking it into thinking it's still daytime. The Ferber method. This method, developed by Dr. Richard Ferber, is designed to help children learn how to self-soothe and fall asleep on their own. It's particularly effective for children over 6 months. Process. After soothing the baby, parents leave the room for increasing intervals, allowing the baby to learn how to fall asleep independently. This method can be challenging initially, but it often leads to improved sleep habits. The Actigraph. The Actigraph, a wrist-worn device, has revolutionized sleep research by accurately measuring sleep patterns. Research using the Actigraph has shown that children who go to bed at consistent times perform better academically, suggesting that routine plays a significant role in sleep quality and cognitive function. Paying attention to sleep needs. The amount of sleep a child needs varies with age. 0 to 1 month, 16 hours a day, including naps. 1 to 12 months, 14 hours a day. 1 to 3 years, 12 hours a day. 3 to 12 years, 10 hours a day. 12 years and up, 8 to 9 hours a day. However, these are general guidelines. It's crucial to observe your child's behavior and adjust their sleep schedule as needed. If they seem irritable or have trouble concentrating, they may need more sleep. Tips for parents. 1. Start early. Establish a consistent bedtime routine by 4 months of age. 2. Follow sleep guidelines. Use general sleep recommendations as a guide. 3. Screen-free hour. Avoid screens at least an hour before bedtime. 4. Parental sleep matters. Parents also need enough rest to make better decisions and maintain family harmony. 5. Breastfeed if possible. It helps support a baby's sleep cycles. 6. Swaddle infants. Swaddling helps newborns sleep longer by reducing startle responses. 7. Encourage routines. Reinforce the 24-hour cycle with consistent behavioral cues. Questions to consider. 1. How does parental sleep affect a child's sleep and overall well-being? 2. How could research be conducted to determine the exact amount of sleep children need, rather than relying on typical sleep patterns? Activities to try. 1. Sleep diary. Keep a record of your child's sleep schedule and notice any connections between sleep patterns and behavior. 2. Screen-free week. Try turning off all screens an hour before bedtime for a week and observe any changes in sleep quality or behavior. Suggested reading and resources. Ferber, Solve Your Child's Sleep Problems. CARP, The Happiest Baby on the Block. Lecture 4, Healthy Eating Habits for Life. Introduction. One of the biggest challenges parents face is encouraging their children to eat healthy food. Young children are highly active and need a variety of nutrients such as protein, fatty acids like DHA, vitamins, and minerals to support brain development and physical growth. While getting children to eat enough calories isn't usually difficult, ensuring they develop healthy eating habits that last a lifetime can be more challenging. Taste preferences, innate preferences. Babies are born with certain flavor preferences. For example, they generally enjoy sweet tastes but dislike bitter ones. This is likely a survival mechanism. Influence of maternal diet. Studies by Julie Minella have shown that babies develop taste preferences even before birth. Mothers who consumed carrots during pregnancy or breastfeeding had babies who later preferred foods with carrot flavor. This demonstrates how early exposure to flavors can shape a child's food preferences. Finicky eaters, the picky eater stage. Many children become picky eaters around age 2, focusing on bland, familiar foods and resisting new ones. This is a common developmental phase. The power of exposure. The key to helping picky eaters is repeated exposure. Studies have shown that infants exposed to green beans, even when they initially disliked them, eventually ate more of them than sweeter foods like peaches. This suggests that persistence is important, and parents should avoid stopping at the first sign of dislike. Introducing new foods, pairing foods. Research by Elizabeth Capaldi suggests that pairing a new or disliked food, like grapefruit juice, with a familiar, sweetened version can increase acceptance of the new food over time. This technique can help children become more open to trying new flavors. Hunger and taste perception. Children are more likely to enjoy new foods when they're hungry. Hunger activates areas of the brain that respond positively to food, making even unfamiliar foods seem more appealing. Strategies to avoid. Avoid introducing new foods when ill. If a child tries a new food and then becomes ill, even if the illness is unrelated, they may develop an aversion to that food. This survival mechanism ensures we avoid potentially harmful foods in the future. Don't force food. Pressuring children to eat can backfire. Studies show that children who are pressured to eat tend to resist more, and it doesn't result in significantly higher consumption. Instead, encourage tasting and let natural preferences develop. Healthy eating for parents. Role modeling. Children mimic their parents' eating habits. A study involving 1,600 families found that when parents increased their intake of fruits and vegetables, their children did too. Modeling healthy eating is one of the most effective ways to encourage children to do the same. Coercive eating practices. The same study found that when parents modeled healthy eating, they used fewer coercive tactics, further reinforcing the idea that pressure is ineffective. Tips for parents. 1. Pair new foods with familiar ones. 2. Encourage children to try new foods without being forceful. 3. Model healthy eating yourself by eating a variety of foods. 4. Avoid filling children with familiar foods when trying to introduce something new. 5. Be patient. Children's natural tastes will develop over time. 6. Don't introduce new foods when a child is ill or about to become ill. Questions to consider. 1. If our taste systems are designed to crave what we need, why do we crave unhealthy foods? 2. Why do young children in cultures with spicy foods typically avoid them, even though they provide health benefits? Activities to try. Cultural exposure. Visit a restaurant that serves foreign cuisine to expose your child to new smells and flavors. Cooking together. Involve your children in cooking, starting with simple tasks. This involvement can make them more interested in trying new foods. Recommended equipment and materials. Child-sized pots, pans, and mixing bowls to make cooking more engaging for young children. Lecture 4. Lecture 5. Baby Talk, Sign Language, and Speech. Introduction. From birth, children communicate in many ways. Even before they can speak, they use their eyes, facial expressions, and sounds to show interest or discomfort. By around 1 year of age, most children start using words, and some may begin to combine them into short sentences. Interestingly, many babies can learn and use simple sign language before they can speak. Parents can support their child's communication skills by interacting with them from birth. The speech process. 1. Early responses. 2 to 3 months. Babies as young as 2 to 3 months will turn towards voices and make cooing sounds, starting their interaction with spoken language. 2. Name recognition. 6 to 7 months. By 6 or 7 months, most babies can recognize their own names and basic words by around 9 months. 3. First words 1 year. Around the age of 1, most babies speak their first word, usually a noun. This marks a critical step toward verbal communication and connection with others. 4. Two-word sentences under 2 years. By the age of 2, children start combining nouns and verbs into simple 2-word sentences, which is an essential developmental milestone. Using sign language. Parents are increasingly teaching babies sign language for two main reasons. One, early communication, 8 to 10 months. Babies as young as 8 months can learn simple signs to express their needs before they are able to speak. This strengthens the bond between the child and parents. 2, fun and engagement. Signing is enjoyable for babies and parents alike. Babies are eager to communicate, and using signs gives them a way to express themselves, bringing joy and reducing frustration. Enhances language development. Studies show that using signs actually supports spoken language development. Babies who use signs often learn to speak earlier and develop more complex sentence structures. Misconceptions about sign language. Some parents and pediatricians initially worried that using sign language might delay spoken language development. However, studies, like those led by Susan Goodwin at California State University, have shown that signing doesn't hinder speech. In fact, children who use sign language often speak earlier than their peers. Speech versus non-speech sounds. From birth, babies show a preference for human speech over other sounds. They are wired to pay more attention to speech, especially when it's directed at them. Parents should talk to infants regularly. Engage in normal conversations with babies, just like you would with older children or adults. Use complex language. Talk about topics that interest the child, as this helps build vocabulary and comprehension. Motherese, or parentes. Motherese, or parentes, is the high-pitched sing-song speech that adults use when talking to babies. It's common across cultures and helps babies learn language by simplifying speech patterns, slowing down speech for easier understanding, highlighting key language features with tonal variation. Babies as young as 1 month prefer motherese and can learn words better when spoken this way. The language instinct. Language is not just a continuous stream of sounds. Our brains break it down into words and sentences. Babies naturally learn to do this through a process called statistical learning. Studies by Jenny Safran show that even at 8 months, babies can recognize word boundaries by analyzing patterns in the speech they hear. Tips for parents. 1. Talk to your baby. From birth, provide a rich linguistic environment to help your baby learn. 2. Use sign language. Incorporating signs can support language development and provide another communication tool. 3. Use parentes. The sing-song voice helps attract your baby's attention and aids in learning. 4. Follow the baby's cues. Engage in conversations based on what interests your baby. Activities to try. Conversation time. Talk to your baby about your day and listen for their responses, even if they are just coos or babbles. Make up a sign. Use a gesture for a familiar object, like milk, and watch to see if your baby picks it up after repeated use. Object identification. Place a toy or bottle in front of your baby and ask them to look at it when named. Their gaze will often show recognition before they can speak. Suggested resources. Books. My First Baby Signs by Acrodolo, Goodwin, and Gentile. DVD. Signing Time. My First Signs by Two Little Hands Productions, 2007. Watch together to learn and practice signs. These resources can help create a fun and educational environment to support your child's early language and communication skills. Lecture 6, Shaping Behavior. How Kids and Rats Differ. Welcome to Lecture 6, where we'll explore how to shape behavior, particularly in children, using insights from psychological studies. We often look to theories of reward and punishment when thinking about behavior, but it's important to recognize the difference between children and the animals often used in behavior studies, like rats. Conditioning is studied in lab animals, but we should never treat children like rats. Most importantly, hitting children, using corporal punishment does not work and has harmful effects. Unlike rats, children benefit from explanations and reasoning, even if they don't fully understand it at the time. B.F. Skinner and behaviorism. To begin, let's travel back to the 1950s and meet B.F. Skinner, one of the most influential figures in psychology. Skinner developed behaviorism, a theory that applies to both humans and animals, such as rats. He believed that behavior is shaped through experiences of reinforcement and punishment. According to Skinner, there are 4 types of outcomes that can change behavior. Positive reinforcement. When a behavior leads to a reward, it increases the likelihood of that behavior happening again. For example, if a child completes their homework and gets praised, they are more likely to do homework again in the future. Negative reinforcement. This is not punishment, but the removal of something unpleasant. For example, if a child hurries home to avoid being yelled at for being late, they are more likely to come home on time in the future. Positive punishment. This involves adding something unpleasant following a behavior. If a child is yelled at for fighting with a sibling, the child may avoid fighting to prevent the yelling. Negative punishment. This happens when something desirable is taken away to reduce a behavior. If a child doesn't get their usual cookie after throwing their coat on the floor, they might stop throwing the coat to get the cookie back. Equipotentiality. Are kids just like rats? One of the ideas Skinner put forward was equipotentiality, the idea that any behavior can be reinforced or punished in the same way, whether in humans or animals. He suggested that whether you reward good behavior or punish bad behavior, the result should be the same. However, research, especially on children, shows this isn't entirely true. Punishing children, especially using corporal punishment like spanking, often teaches them to avoid the behavior only when the punishing parent is around. Worse, children might learn that hitting is a way to solve problems, leading to aggressive behaviors in other settings, like at school. Children imitate their parents in everything they do. This is why the phrase, "do as I say, not as I do," doesn't work. If parents model violent behavior, children are likely to copy that behavior in their interactions with others. Findings on corporal punishment. Research shows that corporal punishment can lead to a range of negative outcomes. While some children might be more difficult to manage and more likely to experience punishment, this alone doesn't explain why corporal punishment is harmful. Studies that follow children over time show that kids who are spanked tend to exhibit more antisocial behavior and developmental problems. Even if parents become frustrated with their child's behavior, using corporal punishment is not effective and can damage the parent-child relationship. The power of positive reinforcement. The best way to shape children's behavior is through positive reinforcement. When you see your child doing something good, acknowledge and reward it. This reinforces the behavior and makes it more likely to continue. It's easy for parents to focus on bad behavior, but it's just as important to notice when children are playing nicely or following instructions. A simple, "I love how well you're playing together," can have a big impact on encouraging positive behavior. The sticker game. A practical strategy for younger children is a reward system, like the sticker game. Here's how it works. If a child behaves well during a specific task, e.g., getting ready for bed, they earn stickers. If they don't, they earn fewer or no stickers. Once they collect a certain number of stickers, they earn a prize, like a new toy. This game makes positive reinforcement fun and immediate for children, while encouraging consistent, desirable behaviors. Explaining your reasoning. Children are much more likely to change their behavior when they understand why you want them to change. Even if the reasoning seems a bit complex for them, just explaining it can make your reinforcement more effective. This explanation builds a connection and helps children internalize the reason for behaving well, rather than simply reacting to rewards or punishments. Tips for parents. 1. Treat your child like a human, not an experiment. Human learning is more complex than simple reinforcement and punishment. 2. Avoid hitting your children. Corporal punishment does not lead to lasting positive changes and can cause long-term harm. 3. Catch your children being good. Focus on and reward positive behaviors. 4. Explain your reasoning. Even if children don't fully understand, the act of explaining enhances the effect of reinforcement. Activity. Play the sticker game. Try the sticker game described above to help shape your child's behavior. Pick a behavior you'd like to see more of, such as being polite at the dinner table. Use stickers as a reward and offer a prize when a certain number of stickers is collected. Hermer and Spelke found that children's ability to use language influences how they understand spatial and color relationships. Can you think of other ways that language shapes our thinking, both in childhood and adulthood? Lecture 7. Which style of parenting is best? In this lecture, we explore the concept of parenting styles and how they impact children's behavior, social and cognitive development, and long-term happiness. Additionally, we examine how parenting influences moral development. 4 styles of parenting. Researchers led by Diana Baumrind identified 4 primary parenting styles. 1. Authoritative parenting. 2. Authoritarian parenting. 3. Permissive parenting. 4. Uninvolved parenting. Each style has distinct characteristics and different outcomes for children. Let's dive into these styles one by one. Authoritarian parents. Characteristics. Authoritarian parents are strict and expect obedience without questioning. Their typical response to a child asking why is, "Because I said so." Discipline. Punishment or the threat of punishment is often used to control behavior. Emotional tone. Authoritarian parents tend to be less warm and responsive. Outcomes for children. Positives. These children are often well-behaved and follow rules. Negatives. They may struggle with depression, anxiety, social issues, and lower self-esteem later in life. Permissive parents. Characteristics. Permissive parents are nurturing and warm, but set few limits on their children's behavior. They prefer explaining why behaviors are necessary, but do not enforce them strictly. Discipline. Permissive parents rarely enforce strict rules. Emotional tone. Highly warm and responsive. Outcomes for children. Negatives. These children may misbehave more, struggle with self-discipline, and experience issues like higher rates of obesity and substance abuse later in life. Uninvolved parents. Characteristics. These parents show little interest in their child's life, providing minimal warmth and control. Discipline. Lack of discipline and involvement in the child's activities. Emotional tone. Low warmth, low engagement. Outcomes for children. Negatives. Children raised by uninvolved parents face the most significant developmental challenges, often leading to severe behavioral and emotional issues. Authoritative parents. Best approach. Characteristics. Authoritative parents balance warmth with firm limits. They explain the reasons behind rules and involve their children in decision-making. Discipline. They use inductive discipline, explaining how changes in behavior can impact others and the child themselves. Emotional tone. Warm, respectful, and engaged with the child's needs. Outcomes for children. Positives. Children raised by authoritative parents tend to have better social skills, higher self-esteem, and are more likely to internalize moral values. A study by Craig Hart at Louisiana State University found that children whose parents frequently used inductive discipline displayed fewer disruptive behaviors on the playground. Instilling discipline and hard work. Authoritative parenting is particularly valuable in areas requiring discipline and hard work, like learning a musical instrument or practicing a sport. For example, if your 7-year-old is learning piano, the challenge lies in helping them practice consistently, even when it's difficult. Children at this age often struggle because their brains are still developing the ability to plan long-term and practice delayed gratification. While some parents might be tempted to use authoritarian techniques to push their children, as described in Amy Chua's book, Battle Hymn of the Tiger Mother, research shows that authoritative parenting leads to better outcomes. The key is balancing encouragement with clear limits. Providing encouragement. The way you encourage your child matters. Rather than simply demanding obedience, involve them in discussions about their activities and choices. If they resist practicing piano, for example, use conversation and positive reinforcement to guide them back when they're ready. Praise their effort when they engage willingly, which helps build a sense of responsibility and internal motivation. Moral development. Recent studies have shown that authoritative parenting is the most effective style for promoting moral development. In an experiment, children who were raised with authoritative parenting were more likely to internalize moral values, display guilt when they did something wrong, and act altruistically. They were also less likely to lie compared to children raised in authoritarian environments. Tips for parents. 1. Strive to be authoritative. Balance warmth with clear limits. 2. Use inductive discipline. Explain how behavior changes impact others. Question to consider. Can authoritative principles be applied in the workplace? Good teachers often balance warmth and rules effectively. Could good managers and bosses do the same? Activity to try. For one full day, try explaining the reasons behind every rule or decision you make with your children. At the end of the day, ask if they noticed a difference. Also, observe how other parents handle difficult situations. Are they being authoritative, authoritarian, or permissive? By applying the authoritative approach, you foster a healthy environment for your child's emotional, social, and moral development, setting them up for long-term success and happiness. Lecture 8. The Joy of Reading and the Role of Phonics. Teaching children to read is one of the most rewarding experiences for parents and educators. Beyond teaching the mechanics of reading, the true joy lies in the connection you form with children as you explore books together. Reading introduces children to a world of limitless ideas, imagination, and knowledge, linking them to history and the broader human experience. Reading aloud. One of the first steps in nurturing a love for reading is reading aloud to children, even from infancy. This helps children become familiar with books, which later fosters an eagerness to read on their own. Why is reading aloud important? Socializing with books. Early exposure to books creates positive associations. Children who grow up hearing stories often become better readers. Learning enjoyment. Children who enjoy being read to are more likely to develop reading mastery. Reading aloud fosters the joy of learning through stories, not just the technical aspects of letters and words. Benefits for older children. Even children up to age 14 benefit from being read to. Hearing stories read aloud by a skilled reader helps them understand and appreciate the depth of literature more fully. Choosing books. Children, especially younger ones, often enjoy reading the same book repeatedly. This isn't just a habit, it's a learning process. Why do children reread books? Learning patterns. Repeated exposure helps them grasp patterns, like rhyming structures or story sequences, that they may have missed the first time. Confidence building. Familiarity with a book builds their confidence as readers. Involving your child in selecting books fosters a sense of ownership and makes reading more enjoyable. What types of books work best? Simple books. For young readers, simple books without distractions like pop-ups are more effective. Studies show that while pop-up books might engage children's attention, they don't necessarily improve learning. Rhyming books. Rhyming books are excellent tools for teaching early reading skills. Reading development stages. As children grow, their reading skills evolve through distinct phases. 1. Pre-reading phase, ages 4 to 5. Children at this age begin to recognize that letters have sounds and may enjoy rhyming games or sing the alphabet. 2. Early reading, age 6. At this stage, children typically start reading simple books with a vocabulary of around 100 words. 3. Fluent reading, ages 7 to 8. By the second or third grade, children become fluent readers, recognizing whole sentences and phrases. 4. Reading to learn. As children enter middle school, reading becomes a tool for learning rather than just learning how to read. Phonics, a powerful tool. Phonics is a common method to teach children how to read by associating sounds with letters or groups of letters. How does phonics help? Sounding out words. Phonics helps children decode written symbols into sounds, an essential step for early readers. Combining letters and sounds. Using songs, games, and colorful characters, phonics encourages children to associate sounds with letters, making reading more engaging. However, phonics is just the beginning. Once children master the ability to sound out words, the focus should shift to reading for meaning. This involves recognizing whole words, understanding sentences, and engaging with stories in a more comprehensive way, dealing with dyslexia and reading disorders. Some children may struggle with dyslexia or other reading difficulties. Dyslexia is thought to be related to slower processing of sounds in the brain, which can make reading more challenging. What should parents know about dyslexia? Intelligence is not a factor. Children with dyslexia are just as intelligent as their peers, but they may take longer to develop reading fluency. Interventions. Research-based interventions can improve reading skills. For example, computer-based programs have been designed to help children with dyslexia by improving their brain's response to sounds. Slow readers and patience. Parents may worry if their child is slow to start reading, but it's important to be patient. Not all children are ready to read at the same time. What can parents do? Avoid panic. For many children, reading delays resolve themselves naturally. Read for fun. Continue to enjoy reading games and activities with your child, focusing on making reading an enjoyable experience. Seek help. If your child shows persistent difficulty by age 7, consult a reading specialist. Tips for parents. 1. Start early. Begin reading to your child from infancy to foster positive associations with books. 2. Keep reading aloud. Even after your child learns to read, continue reading aloud together as it promotes deeper comprehension. 3. Phonics first. Use phonics-based teaching initially, but don't rely solely on it. Move toward whole word recognition and understanding stories. 4. Let them reread. Allow your child to reread books they enjoy as it helps reinforce learning. 5. Real-world reading. Encourage reading outside of books, such as reading signs or labels, to show how reading is a valuable life skill. 6. Be patient. If your child is a slow reader, be patient and supportive, and avoid pushing them too hard. 7. Use rhyming games. Rhyming games are fun and effective in developing reading skills. Conclusion. Reading is a journey that begins with phonics and simple texts and grows into a lifelong skill for learning and enjoyment. As parents, you have the unique opportunity to make reading a joyful and meaningful experience for your child. Lecture 9. IQ Hazards and Boosting Intelligence. In today's lecture, we'll explore IQ tests, their impact on children's lives, and how to support your child's intellectual growth. Although IQ tests aren't perfect, they are widely used to assess intelligence. We'll discuss strategies to enhance IQ and promote academic success, regardless of your child's IQ score. Let's break it down step by step. 1. Understanding IQ scores. IQ tests are widely used, but they only give a partial picture of a child's abilities. They assess skills like reasoning, memory, and problem solving, but IQ scores alone don't determine a child's potential or future success. The test process. Children often take IQ tests in school, where they solve puzzles, recognize patterns, or repeat numbers. Based on their performance, they get an IQ score. A score of 100 represents the average for their age group. Distribution of scores. Most children's scores fall into a bell curve, with a few scoring very high or low. The IQ score becomes important as it may influence the educational opportunities your child receives. 2. Limitations of IQ tests. While IQ tests can indicate academic aptitude, they are not perfect. They may predict some aspects of performance, but they are far from foolproof. Misconceptions about ability. If children believe they're not good at something, like math, they might avoid it and not develop the necessary skills. Conversely, children who believe they don't need to work hard might not push themselves, leading to poor learning habits. 25% more accurate. IQ tests improve predictions of school performance by only about 25%. This means many children with high IQs may not do well in school, and some with lower IQs may perform exceptionally well. Stereotype threat. A child's perception of their intelligence or ability can greatly affect their performance. Gender bias example. When girls are told that boys perform better in math, they may score lower due to the pressure of confirming that stereotype. On the other hand, when the stereotype is challenged, girls perform as well as boys. Self-belief. It's essential to help children believe that their intelligence and skills can grow with effort. This mindset encourages better learning outcomes. 4. Ways to boost intelligence. We now know that intelligence is flexible and can be developed. Here are 3 proven ways to help boost your child's intelligence. 1. Playing with blocks. Simple activities like playing with wooden blocks have been shown to improve spatial reasoning and math skills. Research shows that children who engage in block play tend to perform better on IQ and math tests later on. 2. Regular exercise. Physical activity is linked to better cognitive performance. Encouraging your child to be active for 30 to 60 minutes a day, whether it's playing tag or climbing a jungle gym, can improve IQ and overall brain health. 3. Musical training. Learning a musical instrument enhances brain development and spatial skills. Studies show that even a few months of musical training can lead to improved IQ scores. 5. The malleable mindset. Teach your children that intelligence is not a fixed trait, but one that can be developed with effort. Crystallized versus fluid intelligence. Crystallized intelligence is related to knowledge and skills in specific areas, while fluid intelligence is the ability to solve new problems. Both can improve with practice and learning. Growth mindset. Encourage your child to believe in the malleability of intelligence. Studies have shown that children who think they can grow their intelligence perform better academically, especially in math. 6. Praise for effort, not being smart. How you praise your child matters. Instead of telling your child they are smart, praise their effort. This encourages resilience and a willingness to face challenges. Effort versus fixed labels. Children praised for working hard tend to achieve more over time than those praised for being smart. The former develop a love for learning, while the latter might avoid challenges to protect their smart label. Tips for parents. 1. Don't overvalue IQ scores. They're not the definitive measure of intelligence or potential. 2. Encourage play, exercise, and music. These activities promote cognitive development. 3. Teach the malleable mindset. Help children see intelligence as something that grows. 4. Praise effort. Focusing on hard work builds persistence and resilience. Activities to try. Take an IQ test yourself. Understand what your child will experience during an IQ test. Engage in musical activities. If you can play an instrument, try teaching your child. Even a few lessons can boost their mental development and strengthen your bond. Question to consider. Would it be ethical or beneficial to use IQ scores without telling children what their score is? What are the potential benefits or harms of sharing these scores with children? By understanding these key points, you can guide your children toward a positive and growth-oriented approach to learning and intelligence. Lecture 10, Enhancing Your Child's Memory. Welcome to Lecture 10. Today, we'll delve into the fascinating world of human memory and explore effective strategies that parents can use to enhance their children's memory abilities. Our focus will be on practical tips, including the use of mental imagery, rehearsal, organization, and mnemonics. The brain and memory. 1. Neuronal connections. The human brain stores long-term memories as patterns of connections between approximately 100 billion neurons, which form around 100 trillion synapses. When a neuron becomes active, it affects the activity of connected neurons, altering memory patterns. 2. Memory development in children. Infants and toddlers have a large number of synapses, which are pruned as they mature. This process may explain why early memories are often elusive. Despite this, babies show recognition of familiar objects from birth, demonstrating an early form of memory called habituation. Working memory and long-term memory. 1. Working memory. Working memory, or short-term memory, holds information temporarily for processing and reasoning. It has a limited capacity and fades within about 30 seconds if not refreshed. For long-term retention, information needs to be transferred from working memory to long-term memory, which has a vast storage capacity and can last a lifetime. 2. Digit span memory task. This task involves recalling a sequence of digits read to a child. The capacity of working memory grows with age, from about 2 to 3 digits at age 4 to 7 digits by age 12. Working memory capacity is a significant predictor of academic success, sometimes even more so than creativity or reading ability. Memory training. Computer-based games. Programs like CogMed use games to enhance working memory by progressively increasing the complexity of tasks. Studies show that children who play these games show improvements in working memory and related skills, with benefits lasting even after the games are discontinued. 2. Everyday memory practice. You can also help your children improve their memory by giving them sequences of instructions to follow, gradually increasing complexity. Strategies to enhance memory. 1. Rehearsal. Repetition or rehearsal helps maintain information in short-term memory. Teach children this technique to improve their ability to remember information over time. 2. Visual imagery. Convert information into visual images to enhance recall. For example, remember a phone number by visualizing it in parts or associating it with familiar objects. 3. Mnemonics. Use mnemonic devices to organize and encode information. For instance, the acronym MVMJNP can help remember the order of planets, and King Philip came over for good soup aids in recalling biological classification. 4. Chunking. Break down information into meaningful chunks. For example, categorize a list of Spanish words into animals, plants, and kitchen items to make memorization easier. Tips for parents. 1. Enhance working memory. Challenge and exercise your child's working memory with various activities and tasks. 2. Teach rehearsal. Introduce the concept of mental rehearsal around ages 4 to 5. 3. Introduce visual imagery. Start teaching visual imagery techniques around ages 8 to 9. 4. Use mnemonics. Teach mnemonic strategies by ages 9 to 10 to aid in remembering complex information. Suggested reading and resources. 4. Moonwalking with Einstein, Lorraine and Lucas, The Memory Book, Vishton's Scientific Secrets for a Powerful Memory. Question to consider. User's Manual for the Brain. Beyond memory limitations, what other aspects of brain function should be included in a user's manual for children starting elementary school? Activities to try. 1. Contextual memory. Revisit old familiar places to trigger memories of past events. 2. Memory lists. When shopping, memorize a list of items and involve your child in the process. 3. Journaling. Write and review journal entries with your child to explore memory and encoding strategies. Recommended equipment and materials. Memory Match game cards. Various themed versions are available, or use ordinary playing cards. This game helps children practice memory and develop strategies for recall. Thank you for joining today's lecture. Remember, enhancing your child's memory is a continuous process involving both direct practice and the use of effective strategies. Keep experimenting with these techniques and observe what works best for your child's unique needs. Lecture 11, Parent as Teacher, Homework and Beyond. Introduction. School provides students with opportunities to explore and understand the world around them, offering a platform for self-expression and personal growth. It represents a significant societal investment in children's knowledge and skills. Homework extends this learning beyond the classroom, allowing students to reinforce and practice material independently. This lecture will provide research-based strategies for parents to support their children with homework and enhance their learning experience. The 10-minute rule. Homework duration. Some schools assign extensive homework, while others give less frequent but larger projects. The amount of homework can vary, with some nights requiring less than an hour of work. Research insight. Harris Cooper from Duke University conducted a meta-analysis showing a positive correlation between homework time and academic achievement. However, too much homework can lead to burnout and decreased performance. Guideline. Cooper's 10-minute rule suggests that students should receive about 10 minutes of homework per grade level. For example, a third grader should have about 30 minutes of homework, a sixth grader an hour, and a senior 2 hours. Sound homework procedures. Planning. Discuss and plan homework procedures with your child, explaining its importance and value. Consistency. Establish a regular time and place for homework. Referring to this time as study time can help create a routine even on nights without assigned homework. Timing. Choose a time that works best for your family, avoiding late-night homework to prevent sleep deprivation, which can negatively impact school performance. Location. Ensure the study space is quiet and free from distractions. A designated area, like a kitchen table or a quiet bedroom, can be effective, provided it's consistently maintained for homework use. Research findings. Studies show that children with well-organized homework routines complete assignments more consistently, produce higher quality work, and experience fewer conflicts over homework. Parental help, involvement. Research indicates that excessive parental help can lead to poorer performance on tests. Encourage independent work rather than directly assisting with every problem. Homework Process Inventory. Developed by Harris Cooper, this tool correlates the time children spend on homework with their test scores, showing that children often benefit more from self-directed study. Support approach. Provide support by keeping distractions away, but avoid over-involvement. Aim to help children develop independent problem-solving skills. Scaffolding SEPT. Scaffolding involves providing support that is gradually removed as the child becomes more capable. This approach helps children develop the skills to complete tasks independently. Application. When helping with homework, provide minimal assistance. For instance, instead of correcting mistakes directly, guide the child to think through their process and find solutions themselves. Spacing. Study breaks. Research shows that spacing out study sessions enhances learning and retention. For example, studying for 20 minutes with breaks in between is more effective than a single long study session. Practical tip. Incorporate short breaks during homework sessions or rotate subjects to take advantage of spacing effects. Context-specific learning. Learning environments. Students recall information better when the study environment is similar to the testing environment. However, to apply knowledge in various contexts, studying in different locations can be beneficial. Varied study locations. Encourage children to work on different subjects in different areas of the house, or rotate tasks to help them adapt their learning to various contexts. Tips for parents. 1. Create an effective study environment. Organize a quiet, well-lit, and consistent space for homework, involving your child in setting it up. 2. Provide limited help. Be available but minimize direct involvement in homework to promote independent learning. 3. Use scaffolding. Offer support when necessary, but gradually reduce assistance to encourage independence. 4. Apply spacing techniques. Encourage frequent short study sessions and breaks to maximize learning. 5. Follow the 10-minute rule. Ensure homework duration aligns with Cooper's guideline for appropriate grade levels. 6. Discuss homework value. Talk to your child about the importance of homework and its benefits for learning. 7. Establish a study routine. Create a regular learning time each day, even without specific homework, and let your child help choose the timing. Suggested reading and resources. Anderson, Learning and Memory. Cooper and Valentine eds Homework. Cooper, The Battle Over Homework. Goldberg, The Organized Student. Rawson, Marsh, Nathan, and Willingham, What Works, What Doesn't. Questions to consider. 1. What additional resources or topics would you like to explore with your child? 2. What is the role of parents in education versus the role of teachers? Discuss this with your child's teacher. 3. How does parental involvement in homework affect educational equity? Consider how this aligns with the goal of equal educational access. Activities to try. Daily study hour. Establish a daily study hour with your child to explore topics of interest, whether or not there is assigned homework. Collaborative research. Choose a question of interest and conduct a research project together. Divide the tasks to include both parent and child in the learning process. By applying these strategies, you can support your child's educational journey effectively and foster a positive attitude towards learning. Lecture 12, Getting a Jump on Math, Without Math Anxiety. In this lecture, we'll explore how to foster an early appreciation for math in children while avoiding math anxiety. Understanding and applying mathematical concepts early on can set the stage for long-term success in school and beyond. Let's dive into some practical strategies and insights for parents to help their children get a head start in math. The significance of math achievement. Math is not just another subject, it's the language of science and a critical skill for success in many fields. Unlike some developmental milestones, which may have short-term benefits, early math achievement has a lasting impact. Children who excel in math in kindergarten tend to remain ahead as they progress through school. Math skills are linked to future success, both academically and professionally. Students with strong math backgrounds are more likely to attend college, graduate, and have better job prospects and higher salaries. Therefore, nurturing math skills early on can have significant long-term benefits. Developing math ability. Mathematical knowledge develops in a predictable sequence, though the exact timing can vary among children. Here's a brief overview. Early counting. Around age 4, children start to grasp that counting corresponds to the number of items. They can usually count up to about 5 objects. Basic addition. By age 5, many children can perform simple addition and recognize numerals. This is when they begin to understand symbolic math, like 1 + 1 = 2. Multiplication and beyond. As children learn multiplication, they encounter the concept of sets or collections of items. While memorization becomes crucial for larger numbers, a solid foundation in number sense helps avoid common problems. Number sense. Number sense is a crucial skill that goes beyond memorizing math facts. It involves the ability to estimate and understand numerical concepts intuitively. Here's why it's essential. Foundation for math learning. Starting with number sense makes learning math faster and more enjoyable. Conceptual understanding. Developed by Stanislas Dehaene, number sense allows children to approximate and reason about numbers without performing detailed calculations. The hundreds board. One effective tool for developing number sense is the hundreds board, created by Maria Montessori. Here's how it works. Introduction to counting. The hundreds board is a 10 by 10 grid where children place numbered tiles from 1 to 100. This helps them understand the base 10 number system. Advanced counting. As children become comfortable with the board, they can practice counting by 2s, 3s, etc., and use the board for addition and subtraction exercises. Building number sense. Playing games and solving written problems with the hundreds board can reinforce mathematical reasoning and help children internalize the concept. Board games. Playing board games can enhance children's math skills and number sense. Games like Chutes and Ladders involve counting and basic arithmetic, providing a fun way to practice math concepts. Research by Robert Siegler and Geetha Ramani shows that children who play these games tend to improve their math skills significantly. A crucial mathematical tool, fractions. Understanding fractions is particularly important between the ages of 8 and 10. Research shows that a strong grasp of fractions correlates with better math performance later on. Here's how to support your child's understanding of fractions. Use math workbooks. Look for workbooks focused on fractions for children around 10 years old. Engage with teachers. Discuss with your child's teachers the importance of fractions and ensure they receive adequate instruction. Real-world applications. Use everyday situations to explain fractions, like dividing a cake among people. Tips for parents. 1. Start with number sense. Build a strong foundation in number sense for better future learning. 2. Play board games. Incorporate games that involve math to enhance understanding and enjoyment. 3. Focus on fractions. Ensure your child has a solid grasp of fractions to support future math achievement. Suggested reading and resources. Basecombe, The New Cool. Carpenter, Fenema, Franke, Levi, and Empson, Children's Mathematics. Dehaene, The Number Sense. Empson and Levi, Extending Children's Mathematics. Questions to consider. 1. Why are fractions so crucial for mathematical understanding during middle and high school? Is it because they are a key concept or simply a challenging area for children? 2. How do you use math in your everyday life? Can you involve your child in practical math reasoning? Activities to try. Travel math. During long drives, calculate travel times and distances. Ask your child to determine when you'll reach the halfway mark or what fraction of the trip remains. Picture problems. Create simple math problems and have your child draw pictures to represent the information and solution. Recommended equipment and materials. Hundreds board, an abacus, Chutes and Ladders board game. By incorporating these strategies, you can help your child develop a strong foundation in math, making learning both effective and enjoyable. Lecture 13, Advantages of a Second Language. In this lecture, we will explore the exciting benefits of early acquisition of a second language. Research shows that learning a second language during childhood offers a range of cognitive advantages. These include improved memory, enhanced creativity, and greater problem-solving flexibility. Notably, parents don't need to be bilingual themselves or commit to intensive language training to support their children's cognitive development. Recent evidence indicates that even modest, regular exposure to a second language can yield significant benefits. Research on bilingualism. 1. Cognitive advantages. Researchers have found that bilingual children often exhibit broader cognitive benefits beyond just language skills. For instance, Ellen Bialystok and her team at York University conducted a study where preschoolers sorted shapes by color and then by shape. While all children struggled initially with the new sorting rule, bilingual children adapted more quickly than monolingual peers. This study suggests that bilingualism enhances cognitive flexibility. 2. Creativity and memory. Esther Adi Jaffa and colleagues found that bilingual children tend to be more creative. Additionally, Laura Ann Petito's research at Gallaudet University demonstrated that bilingual children perform better in reading comprehension compared to monolinguals. Research on working memory also shows that bilingual children, even as young as 3, have superior working memory capacity, which is linked to better math achievement and overall school success. Increased neural activation. 1. Brain function. One hypothesis for the cognitive benefits of bilingualism is increased overall brain activation. When a bilingual person listens to speech in one language, related concepts in the other language are also activated. This heightened neural activity contributes to better brain health and cognitive processing. Bilinguals might have more interconnected and active brains, leading to enhanced memory, creativity, and cognitive skills. 2. Neuroimaging findings. Functional near-infrared spectroscopy, FNIRS, studies show that bilingual children exhibit greater activation in the frontal cortex, particularly during reading activities. This area is crucial for language, inhibitory control, and creative thinking. Enhanced development in this brain region is associated with the cognitive advantages observed in bilinguals. Furthermore, bilingualism is linked to a reduced likelihood of dementia, with trilingualism offering even greater protective effects against mental decline. International competitiveness. 1. Historical and global context. Historically, bilingualism was common in the U.S. and valued in society. Today, bilingualism is increasingly prevalent, with 20% of Americans being bilingual as of 2009. Globally, many people speak multiple languages. Encouraging bilingualism in children not only offers cognitive benefits, but also prepares them for international competitiveness. 2. Supporting bilingualism. Parents can foster bilingualism in their children through various methods: requesting foreign language classes in schools, considering family trips abroad for immersive language experiences, enrolling children in foreign language programs, even if they are not immersion-based. Human language learning. 1. Language acquisition. Children learn languages most effectively before puberty. While research previously suggested a critical period for language learning, more recent studies show that older learners can still excel in grasping grammatical rules and vocabulary. However, young children possess a natural aptitude for language acquisition that diminishes with age. Effective learning techniques. 1. Immersion programs. Language immersion programs, where students are taught exclusively in the target language, have been shown to enhance cognitive skills. For example, French immersion students exhibited cognitive advantages beyond language proficiency. 2. Limited exposure benefits. Even short-term foreign language instruction can improve cognitive skills. Studies have shown that children in standard language programs performed better in creative and problem-solving tasks compared to their monolingual peers. 3. Real-world interaction. Engaging in real-world language use is crucial. Computer-based language systems may have mixed results. Thus, complementing these with practical interactions like playdates with native speakers is essential. Tips for parents. 1. Early exposure. Introduce a second language as early as possible to leverage the cognitive benefits. 2. Immersion opportunities. If feasible, provide immersive language experiences, such as time abroad. 3. Language classes. Enroll your child in foreign language classes if immersion is not possible. 4. Advocacy. Encourage local schools to offer foreign language training. Suggested reading and resources. Bialystok, Ellen. Bilingualism in Development. Grosjean Francois. Bilingual. Questions to consider. 1. Given the cognitive benefits of bilingualism, could there be alternative ways to promote national unity within a bilingual environment? 2. How might learning sign language alongside spoken languages contribute to the cognitive advantages observed in bilingualism? Activities to try. 1. Look for local foreign language group meetings to attend with your child. 2. Study a foreign language together with your child, possibly integrating travel to enhance the experience. Recommended equipment and materials. Computer and video-based language teaching systems can be useful, but should be complemented with real-world interactions for effective language mastery. In summary, early exposure to a second language can offer numerous cognitive benefits, and practical, immersive experiences can further enhance these advantages. Lecture 14. What TV and video can and can't teach. In this lecture, we'll delve into the impact of television and video viewing on children's development. While TV can be a source of education and entertainment, excessive or inappropriate use can have negative effects on both mental and physical health. We'll explore the implications of TV exposure, the effectiveness of educational programming, and strategies for managing screen time. The impact of television on child development. 1. The negative effects. Physical health. Research shows that extensive TV watching is linked to childhood obesity. It often replaces physical activities and can lead to sedentary lifestyles. Mental development. Studies have found that excessive TV exposure, especially in children under 2 years old, can hinder cognitive development and language acquisition. 2. Recommendations for managing TV exposure. For children under 2 years, the American Academy of Pediatrics, AAP, advises avoiding television and other entertainment media for this age group. This is because even educational TV shows have not been shown to benefit infants and may detract from more beneficial activities. For older children, limit TV and media use to less than 2 hours per day. Avoid junk TV, programs that are fast-paced and lack educational value, as they can reduce attention span and impair cognitive function. The positive side. Educational programming. Sesame Street, historical impact. Since its debut in the 1960s, Sesame Street has been pioneering in using television as an educational tool rather than just for entertainment. Effectiveness. Numerous studies have demonstrated that children who regularly watch Sesame Street exhibit improved knowledge of the alphabet, numbers, and language skills. Research even indicates that these benefits extend into adulthood, with higher SAT and achievement scores among those who watched Sesame Street as children. Educational value. Good educational programs often have accompanying websites with information on how they are evaluated for effectiveness. Background TV exposure. 1. Passive media consumption. Constant background TV. Many families leave the TV on throughout the day, which can negatively affect parent-child interactions and cognitive development. Studies suggest that this constant background media can diminish attention span and cognitive abilities in young children. Recommendations. To foster better developmental outcomes, turn off the TV during key times such as meals and when engaging in family activities. Establish screen-free zones to encourage more meaningful interactions. The impact of junk TV and violent content. 1. Junk TV. Effects on attention. Fast-paced, flashy TV programs can reduce children's ability to focus and impact their performance on problem-solving tasks. It's advisable to avoid such content, especially before engaging in mentally demanding activities. Monitoring. Regularly review the content your children are watching and opt for programs that promote focus and cognitive engagement. 2. Violent TV. Imitation and desensitization. Research has shown that children who watch violent TV content are more likely to exhibit aggressive behaviors and have altered responses to real-world violence. Regular exposure can lead to desensitization, reducing emotional responses to violence. Guidance. Monitor and limit exposure to violent content to prevent adverse effects on your child's behavior and perception. Controlling viewing habits. 1. Setting limits. Daily limits. The AAP recommends that children and teens engage with entertainment media for no more than 1 to 2 hours a day. Educational content. Educational programs can support learning, but should be used in moderation. Engage with your children during viewing to enhance the educational experience and ensure a balance with other activities. 2. Creating a media-friendly environment. Interactive viewing. Use TV as a tool for exploration and learning, but be intentional about the content. Avoid random channel surfing and select programs purposefully. Screen-free zones. Designate areas in the home as screen-free zones to promote play and interaction with other materials like books and toys. Tips for parents. 1. Allow children age 3 to 5 to watch educational programs like Sesame Street. 2. Choose shows with proven educational value and information available on their websites. 3. Avoid fast-paced cartoons that may hinder attention span, especially before engaging in challenging tasks. 4. Discuss and quiz your children about what they watch to reinforce learning. 5. Use educational TV in moderation and avoid all TV for children under 2 years old. 6. Prevent background TV exposure to reduce distraction and promote quality interactions. 7. Monitor and restrict content that depicts violence. 8. Establish safe, screen-free play areas for independent child play. Hash. Suggested reading and resources. Fish and Truglio, eds. G is for growing. Questions to consider. 1. Can television be both educational and entertaining? Is it acceptable for children to enjoy TV as adults do? 2. Does television viewing truly allow us to see parts of the world we might not otherwise experience, or does it reduce our inclination to travel and explore in person? Activities to try. Create an educational video with your child using available video editing software. This hands-on project helps improve their media literacy. Pre-test and post-test your child on content from an educational show to measure learning effectiveness. By thoughtfully managing television and video exposure, you can maximize its benefits and minimize potential drawbacks, fostering healthier and more productive developmental outcomes for children. Lecture 15, Values and Pitfalls of Video Games. Video games have become a significant part of modern culture, offering a wide array of experiences from educational content to immersive action. While the diversity of games provides exciting opportunities for gamers, it also presents complexities in understanding their impacts. This lecture explores research findings on the effects of video games on children, focusing on 3 main areas. 1. The positive effects on children's cognitive development and self-esteem. 2. Problems arising from excessive play. 3. Negative effects from violent and realistic video games. 1. Video games and creative thinking. Complex benefits. The impact of video games on children is nuanced, but evidence suggests that certain games can be beneficial. Research, such as that conducted by Linda Jackson and colleagues at Michigan State University, indicates that playing video games regularly is associated with increased creativity. In their study, 12-year-olds who played video games frequently scored higher on the Torrance test of creative thinking, suggesting that the complex scenarios in modern games encourage creative problem-solving. Star 2. Visuospatial reasoning, spatial abilities and STEM success. Visuospatial reasoning, crucial for fields like chemistry and engineering, can be enhanced by video games. Christopher Sanchez's research at Arizona State University showed that just 25 minutes of video game play improved college students' visuospatial abilities. This finding suggests that certain video games can positively impact spatial skills, which may be beneficial for academic performance in math and science. 3. Moment-to-moment attention. Attention allocation. Video games influence various types of attention. Studies reveal that action video games improve moment-to-moment attention, enhancing the ability to rapidly process sensory information. However, there are mixed findings regarding sustained attention, with some research indicating that extensive video game play may hinder the ability to focus on tasks over longer periods. For instance, Sandro Franceschini's study found that video games improved reading abilities in dyslexic children, potentially due to enhanced visual search skills. 4. School performance and behavior. Academic implications. There is substantial evidence linking excessive video game play to poorer academic performance and behavioral issues. Erin Hastings and her team found that more time spent on video games correlated with lower grades. Additionally, violent video games were associated with even more pronounced negative effects. The research by Robert Weiss and Brittany Sarankoski at Denison University further supported this, showing that children with more video game time tended to have lower grades, likely due to reduced time spent on homework and reading. 5. Sustained attention. Challenges with proactive attention. Video games may negatively affect sustained attention, or proactive attention, which is crucial for staying focused on tasks. Research indicates that heavy video game users exhibit less brain activation before important stimuli, potentially impairing their ability to maintain focus. 6. Violent video games. Negative effects of violence. Parents are advised to avoid allowing children to play violent video games. Research shows that such games, especially those with realistic violence, have significant negative effects. The interactive nature of video games makes the impact of violence more severe compared to passive media like television. Tips for parents. 1. Positive impact. Video games can have positive effects on cognitive development and self-esteem. Allow children to play, but within limits. 2. Time limits. Restrict video game play to 2 to 3 hours per week. 3. Monitor other activities. Track children's time spent on homework, reading, and other positive activities before and after introducing video games. 4. Avoid violence. Choose non-violent games to avoid the negative impacts of violent content. 5. Engaging games. Opt for games that stimulate spatial reasoning and problem solving. Suggested reading and resources. Blumberg and Fish, eds. Digital games. Common Sense Media, gamereviews.commonsensemedia.org/game reviews. Questions to consider. 1. Why are computerized simulations often more engaging than real-world activities? 2. Could future video game systems designed for physical activity help reduce obesity rates? Activities to try. Play video games with your child to make the experience interactive and rewarding. Recommended equipment and materials. Jumpstart 3D Virtual World, an educational game that teaches children the alphabet, math, and grammar through interactive challenges. Lego City Undercover, a game that promotes spatial thinking and reasoning. Wii Sports and Kinect Xbox Fitness, games that incorporate physical activity, potentially countering sedentary behavior. In summary, while video games offer various cognitive benefits, they also pose risks, particularly when played excessively or when they involve violent content. Balancing video game play with other activities and monitoring game content can help mitigate potential negative effects. Lecture 16, Promoting Persistence and Self-Esteem. In today's lecture, we'll explore how to nurture essential qualities in children, qualities that lead to happiness and success. Our focus will be on developing a positive attributional style, which can enhance self-esteem and persistence, and foster a curious and optimistic approach to learning and life. Let's break this down into key concepts and actionable strategies. Understanding attributional style. 1. What is attributional style? Attributional style refers to how we explain the causes of our successes and failures. This mindset plays a crucial role in shaping our optimism, persistence, and self-esteem. Internal versus external attributions. When a child succeeds on a math test, they might attribute this success to their own talent or hard work, internal attribution, or to the test questions aligning with what they studied, external attribution. Stable versus unstable attributions. Internal factors like talent are stable. They don't change easily, while external factors like test luck are unstable. They vary. 2. How attributional style impacts us. Research by Martin Seligman shows that those who attribute success to internal, stable, and global factors tend to have a more optimistic outlook. Conversely, those who see success as due to external, unstable factors may become more pessimistic. Attributional Style Questionnaire, ASQ, Seligman's studies, including those with insurance salespeople, show that a positive attributional style predicts success and well-being. A similar tool, the Children's Attributional Style Questionnaire, CAQ, reveals that children with an optimistic attributional style are more persistent, achieve better grades, and maintain better health. 3. Learned helplessness. Learned helplessness occurs when children start attributing failures to stable internal factors, such as believing they're not smart enough. This mindset can lead to a cycle where they give up before mastering new skills. Strategies for enhancing attributional style. 1. Role of parents and teachers. Parents and teachers are pivotal in shaping children's attributional styles. By guiding children to attribute their successes and failures to their efforts and strategies rather than innate abilities, we can help them build resilience. 2. Attribution retraining. Research by Joseph Fowler and Penelope Peterson demonstrated that attribution retraining can effectively shift children's mindsets. In their study, children who were encouraged to link their successes and failures to effort rather than ability showed improvements in both their attributional style and reading skills. Boosting self-esteem. Self-esteem and its benefits. Children with high self-esteem tend to be more adventurous, flexible thinkers, and resilient in the face of failure. They are likely to see failures as challenges rather than reflections of their own inadequacies. 2. Strategies for boosting self-esteem. Encourage effort. Praise children for their effort rather than just their outcomes. Find enjoyable activities. Help children discover activities where they feel competent and derive satisfaction. Addressing depression and suicide. 1. Recognizing depression. Depression in children and teens can arise from various sources, including peer conflicts and poor performance. If sadness persists beyond a few weeks, it may require professional intervention. 2. Preventive measures. Promote physical activity. Engage in physical activities together to improve mood and resilience. Monitor warning signs. Be vigilant for signs of suicidal thoughts, such as comments about being better off gone or giving away possessions. 3. Suicide prevention. Gun safety. Prevent access to firearms as they are often involved in teen suicides. Communication. Encourage open discussions about feelings and watch for signs of distress. Tips for parents. 1. Model positive attribution. When you or your children face failure, frame it in terms of external, unstable, or situational factors. 2. Praise effort. Focus on children's effort rather than just their achievements. 3. Monitor for depression. Be aware of signs and encourage physical activity and open communication. 4. Use attribution retraining. Teach children to attribute successes and failures to their effort and strategies. 5. Support interests. Help children find and pursue activities that build their self-esteem. 6. Ensure safety. Keep firearms out of the home to reduce the risk of suicide. 7. Watch for warning signs. Stay alert to signs of suicidal thoughts and take them seriously. Suggested reading and resources. Mindset by Carol Dweck. Learned Optimism by Martin Seligman. The Optimistic Child by Martin Seligman. Questions to consider. 1. When is it beneficial for a child to give up on a particular endeavor? And how can this decision be made? 2. How does the concept of learned helplessness discovered in animal studies relate to the effectiveness of linguistic interventions? Activities to try. 1. No can't. Spend a day avoiding the word can't and discuss the impact with your child. 2. Biographies. Read biographies of historical figures who overcame challenges and discuss their attributional styles. By understanding and applying these concepts, you can foster resilience, optimism, and a positive self-view in your children, paving the way for their long-term happiness and success. Lecture 17, Encouraging Cooperation, Sharing, and Empathy. Introduction to Prosocial Behavior. In this lecture, we will explore how to teach children about helping, sharing, and cooperating. These actions, often termed prosocial behaviors, are driven by a concern for others' well-being and rights, empathy, and a desire to benefit others rather than just oneself. Engaging in prosocial behaviors can lead to numerous positive outcomes, including greater happiness, peer acceptance, and academic success. Conversely, a lack of these behaviors is associated with various negative outcomes. Enlightened self-interest and altruism. Evolutionary perspectives. Evolutionary theorists traditionally focus on competition for survival, often emphasizing individual rather than community benefits. In this view, behaviors like sharing and cooperation might be seen as enlightened self-interest, acts that ultimately benefit the individual, even if they appear altruistic. Altruism. Altruism is the idea that we help others simply because it's the right thing to do. This contrasts with enlightened self-interest, where helping others is motivated by personal gain. Differentiating between these can be challenging, as behaviors that seem altruistic, such as heroic acts during disasters, might also be influenced by a desire for social approval or other benefits. Altruism as a basic instinct. Research on toddlers. Recent studies suggest that altruistic behavior might be a fundamental aspect of human nature. Research by Felix Warneken at Harvard University shows that even very young children display a tendency to help others without explicit instruction. For instance, toddlers have been observed opening cabinets to assist an adult who is struggling, demonstrating that helping behaviors might emerge early in life. Rewarding prosocial behavior. Avoiding extrinsic rewards. It is important for parents to avoid rewarding children for prosocial behaviors. Rewards can shift children's focus from the intrinsic satisfaction of helping others to the external rewards they might receive. This can diminish their natural inclination to engage in prosocial behaviors when rewards are not present. Fostering intrinsic motivation. Instead of providing rewards, parents should aim to nurture the intrinsic rewards of helping others. Children, like adults, feel good when they help, and fostering this internal sense of satisfaction is more effective in promoting prosocial behavior in the long run. Modeling prosocial behavior. Parenting by example. One of the most effective ways to encourage prosocial behavior is by modeling it yourself. Children often mirror their parents' attitudes and behaviors. Parents who actively engage in helping others and show empathy tend to raise children who adopt similar attitudes. Emotional security. Children are more likely to exhibit empathy when they feel emotionally secure themselves. A supportive and empathetic parenting style helps children become more attuned to the needs of others. Discussing emotions. Engaging in conversations about emotions and perspective taking can enhance children's empathy. When children observe or experience situations where someone needs help, discussing these moments can help them understand and empathize with others' feelings. The impact of media on prosocial behavior. Research shows that playing violent video games can increase aggression and decrease empathy. Children who engage in virtual violence may become more tolerant of aggression in real life and less likely to engage in helping behaviors. On the other hand, prosocial video games and television programs that emphasize helping, sharing, and cooperating can positively influence children's behavior. Games and shows with prosocial themes can reinforce these behaviors, leading more frequent acts of kindness and cooperation. Group singing and cooperation. Music as a tool. Group singing can promote cooperation and prosocial behavior. Studies have shown that children who sing together are more likely to help each other afterward. Singing together fosters a sense of community and cooperation, which can extend beyond the activity. Tips for parents. 1. Avoid rewards. Refrain from using rewards for prosocial behaviors to maintain children's intrinsic motivation. 2. Model good behavior. Stay calm during conflicts and show how to handle strong emotions constructively. 3. Discuss emotions. Talk with your child about emotions and empathy, especially in real-life situations where help is needed. 4. Encourage prosocial media. Choose video games and television programs that promote helping and cooperation. 5. Use group singing. Incorporate group singing into your routine to enhance cooperation and social bonding. Suggested reading. Bloom, P. 2013. Just Babies: The Origins of Good and Evil. Questions to consider. 1. How can we balance teaching children to compete with encouraging prosocial behaviors? What activities might help develop both skills? 2. Considering that facial expressions can influence emotions, how might parents' expressions affect their children's mood and behavior? Activities to try. Family sing-along. Regularly engage in family sing-alongs to see how it affects interactions and conflict resolution. Recommended equipment and materials. Games. Consider cooperative games like New Super Mario Bros. And Fireboy and Water Girl 3. These games encourage collaboration and problem-solving skills. This lecture aims to provide strategies for fostering cooperation, sharing, and empathy in children by understanding their natural tendencies and influencing factors. Lecture 18, Peer Conflicts and Social Development. Social and emotional development is just as important as cognitive development in children. Beyond learning numbers and words, children must develop skills like sharing, following routines, leading others, and managing conflicts. In this lecture, we'll focus on how parents can help nurture these essential skills in their children. 1. Dealing with conflict. Children learn how to handle conflicts primarily by observing their parents. Parents can also explicitly teach strategies to manage social and emotional issues. Interpersonal conflict is normal in social interactions. It can arise from disagreements or simply from not communicating effectively. Rather than viewing conflicts as inherently bad, it's helpful to see them as problems to be solved. By teaching children how to identify the issue, analyze it, and work toward a solution, parents can empower them with conflict resolution skills. Conflict analysis checklist. One helpful exercise is to engage children in a structured analysis of conflicts. This method helps children break down conflicts into manageable pieces and think about possible solutions. Ask the following. Who is involved in the conflict? What did each person do? How does each person feel? What does each person say they want? What do they each need to feel happy with a resolution? This structured approach teaches children that conflicts are solvable and can lead to better communication and compromise. 2. Teaching social skills. Social skills don't just develop on their own, they can be taught. Some key approaches that work well for teaching social skills. Sequential learning. Start with simple lessons and build up to more complex topics. Active learning. Encourage discussion and problem solving rather than passive listening. Time commitment. Spend significant time teaching social skills. Clear goals. Set specific learning objectives. Social and emotional reasoning is like any other skill. It can be taught and refined. 3. Regulating strong emotions. Children often experience strong emotions, such as anger, frustration, or sadness. Teaching them how to regulate their emotions is crucial. When a child is angry or upset, instead of dismissing their feelings, walk them through calming strategies like taking deep breaths or counting to 10. Help them reflect on past experiences where similar situations resolved, showing that emotions pass and solutions can be found. 4. Fostering cooperation. The ability to work in groups is essential for future success. Whether in school, at work, or in life, cooperation is a necessary skill that can be practiced. Give children tasks that require teamwork, like planning a picnic together. These tasks help them practice sharing ideas, dividing work, and reaching common goals. Through cooperative tasks, children learn how to listen, share, and involve everyone in a group. 5. Developing play skills. Children's play develops in stages, from onlooker play, observing others, to parallel play, playing alongside others, to cooperative play, interactive, communicative play. The highest form of play is sociodramatic play, which involves pretending and using imagination. This type of play promotes creativity, self-control, and problem-solving. Encouraging pretend play fosters cognitive and social growth, leading to better academic and personal outcomes later in life. Number 6. Navigating social hierarchies. In schools, children establish a social hierarchy, especially at the beginning of the school year. Conflicts over toys or attention can determine a child's place in this hierarchy, and the dynamics tend to stabilize over time. Children who are at the bottom of the social hierarchy are more likely to experience bullying. Building strong social skills and friendships is one of the best defenses against bullying. Tips for parents. 1. Discuss conflicts with your children to help them understand how to resolve them. 2. Teach them skills like recognizing and managing emotions, cooperating, and respecting differences. 3. Assign cooperative tasks and games to help children practice teamwork. 4. Encourage sociodramatic play to promote imagination and self-control. 5. Make sure children are well rested and fed, especially during the first month of school, which can be socially demanding. 6. Encourage schools to implement anti-bullying programs. 7. Develop your child's social skills to reduce the risk of bullying. Activities to try. Give your child and their friends a task that requires teamwork, like organizing a project or cleaning up a space. Offer a small reward for their efforts, but focus on the importance of cooperation and communication. By teaching children how to navigate social conflicts, regulate their emotions, and work well with others, parents set them up for a lifetime of positive relationships and success. Lecture 19, Maria Montessori at Home for Young Children. In this lecture, we will explore the educational philosophy of Maria Montessori, who revolutionized early childhood education by tapping into children's natural curiosity and desire to explore. Her methods focus on creating an environment that allows children to learn independently through hands-on experience. Montessori methods are practiced in about 4,500 schools across the U.S. and 20,000 schools globally. However, these methods can easily be adapted for home use, offering parents a way to create enriching learning experiences for their children, even without formal Montessori schooling. Maria Montessori and her philosophy. Maria Montessori, born in Italy in the late 1800s, initially worked with mentally handicapped adults, developing materials to help stimulate their cognitive abilities. These sensorial materials were so effective that many of the adults she worked with passed tests meant for children. She later applied her techniques to young children, particularly those between 3 and 6 years old. Her method emphasized the idea that children are naturally capable learners when given the right tools and environment. How can parents apply Montessori at home? 1. Create a prepared environment. Provide materials that match your child's current developmental stage. As their skills progress, update the materials by adding new challenges and removing those they've mastered. 2. Encourage free exploration. Allow your child to choose activities based on their interests. This self-directed exploration fosters independence and engagement. 3. Assign responsibilities. Even very young children can take on small tasks, like tidying their space or helping with household chores. These responsibilities nurture a sense of accomplishment and order. The Montessori method. In a Montessori classroom, the environment is designed to support learning through activity and exploration. Here are some key features that parents can recreate at home. Child-sized furniture and space. A Montessori room is usually carpeted and filled with child-sized furniture. Children can sit or crawl on the floor while working with materials. Simple and orderly environment. Unlike traditional playrooms cluttered with toys, Montessori spaces are intentionally calm, with materials neatly organized and spaced apart. This helps children focus on their tasks. Quiet and peaceful atmosphere. The Montessori method promotes a quiet, uncluttered space to reduce distractions and encourage concentration. Montessori lessons. Follow the child. Montessori lessons are designed to meet children at their current level of development. One example is the set of wooden cylinders used by 3-year-olds. This activity helps children refine their motor control, visual perception, and concentration. While it may seem simple, children are fully engaged by tasks that match their developmental stage. The key principle here is to follow the child. Allowing children to lead their learning experience by engaging in activities they are naturally drawn to fosters deeper learning and curiosity. Bringing Montessori into your home. Parents can easily adapt Montessori principles at home with just a few adjustments. Create a Montessori space. Set aside an area of your home with carefully chosen materials and activities. Rotate new materials in and out to keep the environment fresh and uncluttered. Use everyday objects. Many Montessori materials can be improvised using household items. The goal is to provide hands-on learning experiences, so think creatively about what you already have at home. Learning to read. The Montessori approach. Montessori's approach to literacy starts with sensory and motor activities. One well-known activity is tracing sandpaper letters, which helps children learn letter shapes and sounds through touch. Writing often precedes reading in the Montessori method, as children first learn to trace and then write letters before moving on to reading. Step-by-step process. 1. Trace sandpaper letters while hearing and repeating the sound. 2. Write the letters with a pencil. 3. Gradually progress to writing simple words using a movable alphabet. This approach emphasizes the importance of mastery at each step before moving on to more complex tasks, fostering confidence and independence. Benefits of Montessori learning research, such as the Milwaukee study conducted by Angeline Lillard, has shown that children in Montessori environments often develop stronger cognitive abilities and social skills compared to peers in traditional settings. Montessori-educated children tend to collaborate well with others and exhibit a strong sense of community. Tips for parents. 1. Choose quality daycare. If your child attends daycare, look for a program that emphasizes education and development, even for very young children. 2. Create a Montessori environment at home. Adapt Montessori principles by setting up a clean, organized, and stimulating space for your child to explore. 3. Introduce responsibilities. Encourage your child to take on simple household chores, such as feeding a pet or tidying up their toys. 4. Try Montessori activities. Use sandpaper letters to help with early literacy or other activities that stimulate sensory and motor development. Suggested reading and resources. Montessori, Dr. Montessori's own handbook. Potomac, Teach Me to Do It Myself. Activity to try at home. Assign a simple household chore to your child, such as folding a blanket or feeding the family pet. Help and encourage them, but also allow them the independence to complete the task. This can foster a sense of responsibility and capability. Recommended equipment and materials. Browse online for Montessori materials or try creating your own using household items. Montessori-inspired resources can be found on sites like Montessori Outlet, which offer many ideas for home activities. By incorporating these Montessori principles at home, parents can create a nurturing environment that encourages independent learning, curiosity, and a sense of accomplishment in their children. Lecture 20, Schooling and the Montessori Approach. In today's lecture, we'll explore the importance of class size and the unique benefits of the Montessori approach to education, which aligns with how children naturally learn. Let's break down these concepts to help you understand the significance of each. Small class size. Small class size plays a vital role in enhancing learning outcomes. Here's why. Individual attention. In smaller classes, each child receives more focused attention. When a teacher has fewer students, they can tailor lessons and help each student engage in learning. Research support. Large studies in Tennessee, California, and Wisconsin have shown that smaller class sizes, 15 to 30 students, lead to better learning outcomes, and the positive effects last even after students move to larger classes. Typical classroom challenges. Many traditional classrooms follow a factory-like model, treating students like products to be completed. One size fits all. Teachers often follow a set curriculum with little room for individualization. Test-based learning. Lessons are frequently planned around testing rather than understanding, which doesn't always encourage deep, meaningful learning. However, students learn best when they're active participants in their education. When they can explore and choose topics, they become more invested in learning. Montessori method. The Montessori approach differs from traditional education models by emphasizing student choice. Children choose what they want to study based on their interests, which enhances motivation. Developmentally appropriate lessons. Materials are tailored to the child's current level of understanding and are designed to grow with them. Montessori classrooms foster independent learning. Students progress at their own pace, and teachers facilitate rather than dictate. Montessori at home. Even if you can't enroll your child in a Montessori school, you can apply Montessori principles at home. Adapting lessons. Help your child with math or reading at home by using Montessori techniques. such as hands-on activities and encouraging them to explore topics that interest them. Independent learning. Encourage your child to learn through exploration and self-guided activities, which helps them become more motivated and engaged learners. Practical Montessori tools, counting chains. In Montessori classrooms, tools like counting chains help children understand math, addition to multiplication. Younger children use the chains to learn addition, while older students use them for more advanced concepts like multiplication and even exponents. Deep understanding. Rather than memorizing facts, students build a deep, concrete understanding of mathematical concepts. Continuing Montessori learning. As children grow older, they may move from physical materials like counting chains to more abstract learning. But the Montessori principles remain relevant. Intrinsic motivation. Older students still learn best when they're motivated by their own interests and are encouraged to explore freely. Presentation and collaboration. In Montessori environments, students often present what they've learned to their peers, which enhances understanding and reinforces knowledge. Tips for parents. Here are some practical tips for incorporating these principles at home. 1. Seek small classes. If possible, place your child in smaller classes for more personalized learning. 2. Support struggling students. If your child is falling behind, act quickly to provide additional support before gaps in understanding widen. 3. Use Montessori tools. Incorporate hands-on learning tools, like counting chains, to enhance math skills. 4. Foster independence. Encourage your child to explore topics they're passionate about and learn independently. Suggested activities. Observe a classroom. Visit a Montessori or traditional classroom to observe teaching methods and how children engage with learning. Research projects. Work with your child to select a fun topic for a research project. Engage in a real-world activity afterward to reinforce the academic work. Recommended materials. Counting chains, a simple yet effective tool for reinforcing math concepts. By applying Montessori principles, either at home or in schools, we can create environments where children are free to explore and learn in ways that align with their natural development. Lecture 21, Physical Development and Education. Physical health and mental ability are deeply connected, and fostering physical development in children is crucial for both their short and long-term well-being. In this lecture, we will explore strategies for encouraging physical activity in children, managing weight, and understanding the benefits and risks associated with sports. 1. Childhood obesity and weight reduction. Childhood obesity is a significant challenge, particularly in developed countries. A common method for identifying obesity is by calculating the body mass index, BMI, which relates height to weight. Children in the 95th percentile or higher are considered obese. To reduce excess weight, the principle is simple: burn more calories than you consume. Parents can help children achieve this by either decreasing calorie intake or increasing physical activity. Here are some strategies. Encourage physical activity and reward it. Consider a point system where children earn rewards, not food, for exercising. Implement the exercise increase strategy. Reward children for exercising more frequently, e.g., 30 minutes of daily exercise. Alternatively, use the sedentary reduction strategy. Reward children for reducing sedentary activities like video games. HACRA 2, Sedentary Reduction Strategy, a proven approach. Research by Leonard Epstein suggests that reducing sedentary time is more effective than increasing exercise. In his studies, children who focused on sedentary reduction maintained weight loss better over time compared to those who increased exercise. Even small changes, like reducing screen time, can lead to long-term benefits. These habits, when maintained, can compound into significant improvements in physical fitness. 3. Benefits of team sports. Team sports are a great way to boost physical activity, offering both physical and psychological benefits. Physical benefits: improved cardiovascular fitness, better muscle tone, and increased bone strength. Cognitive and social benefits: children in team sports tend to score higher on academic tests, improve social skills, and increase IQ. In addition, some evidence suggests that regular exercise can lead to the formation of new synapses in the brain, contributing to cognitive development. 4. Team sports and self-esteem. Team sports also help improve self-esteem, particularly for teenage girls, whose self-esteem tends to dip during adolescence. Low self-esteem can lead to depression, eating disorders, and risky behaviors, so it's important to intervene early. Involvement in team sports helps girls form friendships and engage in goal-oriented activities, which boosts confidence. Girls who participate in team sports also tend to perform better academically and are less likely to engage in risky behaviors. Encouraging girls to focus on accomplishments rather than appearance is essential, as societal pressures can negatively impact their self-image. 5. Dangers of concussions. While team sports provide many benefits, certain sports, like football, carry the risk of concussions. A concussion occurs when the brain impacts the inside of the skull, often causing disorientation and headaches. Repeated head trauma, even without noticeable symptoms, can lead to cognitive decline and other long-term effects. Symptoms of concussions include confusion, headaches, and disorientation. Repeated concussions can cause lasting brain damage, and recovery can take a long time. Parents should avoid sports that involve repeated head impacts, such as tackle football or heading in soccer. Hacks. Practical tips for parents. To foster physical development in children, parents can: 1. Help children increase physical activity by focusing on reducing sedentary behavior. 2. Encourage participation in team sports, which is particularly beneficial for girls. 3. Avoid sports that involve repeated head impacts. 4. Monitor your child's BMI, but only worry if they are above the 90th percentile. 5. Promote positive body image and help girls understand unrealistic media portrayals. 6. Praise children, especially girls, for their work and achievements, not just appearance. Questions to consider. 1. Could the strategy of reducing sedentary behavior work for adults as well as children? Should adults focus more on reducing sedentary activities like watching television rather than just exercising more? How could we test this idea? Activities to try. Team sport engagement. Get your child involved in a team sport and attend a professional or college-level game. Experiencing the game as both a participant and spectator can deepen their engagement. Track activity. Subtly track how much time your child spends in sedentary versus active behaviors. Use this as a basis for discussing ways to increase physical activity. Recommended equipment. Keep a variety of sports equipment at home, e.g., basketballs, soccer balls, tennis balls, to encourage self-directed play and make physical fitness enjoyable. By focusing on these strategies, you can help ensure that children grow up physically active and develop healthy habits that benefit them well into adulthood. Lecture 22, The Adolescent Brain. Introduction. Research on parenting adolescents has shifted in recent years. In the past, the focus was primarily on how parents influence their children. But now there's a growing realization that teens influence their parents as well. This mutual influence is natural as adolescents are transitioning into adulthood. Understanding this dynamic can help parents and teens foster a positive relationship where both parties work together towards growth and development. The concept of adolescence. Adolescence is a relatively modern concept. A few hundred years ago, when children reached 13 years of age, they were often treated like adults. They entered the workforce, married young, and started families. Cognitive development milestones. The major cognitive development milestones are typically completed by age 12, yet modern society extends the period of development. Adolescents now receive an additional 6+ years of supervised growth, with some even continuing under parental care into their 20s. Brain development continues beyond puberty. Recent research reveals that adolescent brains continue developing well after puberty. Their thought patterns and behaviors are distinct from those of adults, indicating that teens are not simply inexperienced adults, but are still maturing in important ways. 4 key goals of adolescence. The U.S. National Research Council identifies 4 key goals that drive adolescent behavior and development. 1. Standing out. Adolescents seek to develop their own identity. This includes establishing autonomy and making independent decisions, which marks a significant shift in how they perceive authority and themselves. 2. Fitting in. While teens work to distinguish themselves, they also want to fit in with their peers. Building strong affiliations with peer groups becomes crucial to their social development. 3. Measuring up. Adolescents strive to excel in specific skills. This pursuit of mastery becomes a critical part of their self-esteem and identity as they gain competence in various activities or fields. 4. Taking hold. Adolescents begin to choose their own beliefs and values, moving away from those they inherited from their parents. They start to solidify their adult identities based on these choices. Maintaining good relationships with adolescents. Adolescents tend to disclose less. Teens may withdraw from the open communication they exhibited as children. Parents should aim to maintain trust and openness to ensure their children feel comfortable sharing important concerns. The power of asking questions. Studies show that simply asking teens about their concerns encourages disclosure. While teens may initially resist sharing, consistent inquiry shows care and opens the door for future conversations. Role of friends. Teens are more likely to confide in their peers than in their parents, especially mothers. Parents can maintain positive relationships with their teens by staying connected with their friends and social networks. Promoting mastery. Encourage specialization. Mastery in sports, arts, or academics helps adolescents stand out and measure up. Activities that become part of a teen's identity are linked with higher achievement, self-esteem, and lower rates of depression. Too many activities can hinder mastery. While teens have many opportunities, parents should help them focus on deep engagement with 1 or 2 activities, rather than spreading themselves too thin. Community service. Benefits of volunteering. Volunteering not only helps those in need, but also boosts teens' self-esteem and satisfaction. Community service has been shown to provide emotional benefits and encourage long-term altruism. Impact beyond school. Schools that require community service find that students often continue volunteering after graduation, building a lasting sense of responsibility and fulfillment. Risk-taking behavior. Adolescence and risk-taking. Teens are more likely to engage in risky behaviors, like unsafe driving or experimenting with drugs. This is partly due to the underdevelopment of their frontal lobes, the part of the brain that regulates self-control. Managing risks. It's natural for adolescents to take some risks as they navigate their independence. Parents should help guide teens in managing these risks by sharing their own experiences and offering advice. Tips for parents. 1. Maintain a trusting relationship. Open, honest communication can increase the likelihood that teens will share important information. 2. Encourage deep involvement in activities. Help your child engage deeply in at least one activity that they enjoy and can excel in. 3. Promote volunteering. Volunteering fosters a sense of responsibility and self-worth. 4. Understand brain development. Keep in mind that teens are still developing cognitively, especially in terms of self-control. 5. Ask questions frequently. Even if teens don't always share, asking consistently shows that you care about their well-being. 6. Stay connected with their social circles. Maintaining a positive relationship with your teen's friends can help build trust and keep communication open. Questions to consider. 1. Adolescence is often seen as a time of competing goals, like the desire for independence while still needing parental support. Can you think of other competing aims that adolescents face? 2. Could improvements in self-control drive changes in brain development rather than brain changes driving behavior? What experiences might enhance this process in teens? Activities to try. Regular one-on-one time. Set a consistent time for relaxed conversations with your teen. This could be during a walk, meal, or shared activity. Regular interaction builds a foundation for discussing more significant issues. Volunteer together. Find a local organization and volunteer with your child. After they see your involvement, encourage them to join in and continue the habit of giving back. By understanding the distinct developmental phase that adolescence represents, parents and teens can build a stronger, more supportive relationship, ultimately benefiting both. Lecture 23, Becoming a Parent Scientist. Welcome to Lecture 23. In this session, we explore how to apply scientific principles to parenting and child development. We'll discuss practical ways to conduct your own mini-experiments, how to avoid the pitfalls of anecdotal reasoning, and why systematic, evidence-based decision-making is crucial. The role of science in parenting. Throughout this course, we've emphasized the importance of relying on scientific research for parenting and child development. This research is often supported by multiple studies that reinforce its findings. However, not every parenting question has a clear scientific answer, and sometimes you'll encounter anecdotal information or a lack of published studies. In such cases, you can step into the role of a parent scientist by conducting your own experiments. This involves collecting data, analyzing trends, and developing theories based on your observations. The grip game. One simple experiment you can try involves observing your baby's motor skills. Objective, assess the development of your baby's hand coordination. Materials, a long, thin object like a wooden spoon or ruler. Procedure, place the object horizontally and observe your baby's grip. As your baby grows, you should notice a shift in how they grasp objects. Observation, around 5 to 7 months, babies start orienting their hands to match the object's axis. Track this milestone by noting changes in their grasping technique over time. Tracking eye movements. Another fascinating experiment involves monitoring your baby's eye movements. Objective, observe the development of smooth tracking. Materials, a bright, interesting object like jingling keys. Procedure, move the object slowly from side to side in front of your baby. Observation, newborns will initially use saccadic movements, discrete jumps. By 6 to 8 weeks, you should see smooth tracking movements emerge. Tai Chi and math scores. Consider testing the impact of Tai Chi on your child's math performance. Objective, determine if Tai Chi improves math scores. Procedure, record your child's math grades for 2 weeks, then enroll them in a Tai Chi class. Continue tracking grades to see if they improve. Considerations. Be aware of alternative explanations, such as natural development or increased motivation due to your encouragement. A more rigorous study would involve an ABAB design, but as a parent, focus on practical results. Cultivating young scientists. Apply scientific methods to various parenting challenges. Activity tracking. Keep a journal of activities and outcomes related to weight management or mood changes. Involvement. Engage your child in tracking and analyzing their own behaviors. This not only addresses immediate issues, but also teaches valuable self-regulation skills. Reasoning by anecdote. Avoid making decisions based on anecdotal evidence. For example, vaccinations. Some people wrongly believe that vaccines cause autism based on anecdotes. The scientific consensus is that vaccines are safe and essential for preventing serious diseases. Evidence. Reliable decisions should be based on systematic, scientific research rather than personal stories or misconceptions. Tips for parents. 1. Track development. Document your child's growth and any interventions you try. This helps in making evidence-based decisions. 2. Involve children. Teach older children to record and analyze their own behaviors. This skill will benefit them throughout life. 3. Base decisions on science. Resist anecdotal reasoning and rely on systematic evidence. 4. Vaccination. Ensure your children receive necessary vaccinations supported by strong scientific evidence. Suggested reading and resources: Gallagher, Experimenting with Babe Carp, The Happiest Baby on the Block, Mnuchin, The Panic Virus, Tuft and Graves Morris, The Visual Display of Quantitative Information, 2, Vishton, What Babies Can Do, DVD. Questions to consider. 1. How can we apply scientific research to account for the uniqueness of each child? Activities to try. Track your own behaviors alongside your child's. Reflect on the data you collect to enhance self-understanding and appreciate the scientific process. Recommended equipment. Notebook. Use a Moleskine or composition notebook to document your observations. Dated entries will help organize your data and thoughts effectively. By integrating these practices into your parenting approach, you'll not only address immediate challenges, but also foster a scientific mindset in yourself and your children. Lecture 24, The Great Values of an Unhurried Childhood. In this lecture, we'll explore the importance of an unhurried childhood, a concept that emphasizes allowing children to progress at their own pace and engage in activities that foster their development naturally. This lecture will discuss the evolving focus in developmental science and parenting and why unstructured playtime is crucial for a child's overall growth. New focus in developmental science. Historically, developmental science grappled with the nature versus nurture debate. What aspects of development are innate versus acquired? Today, scientists understand that development is shaped by both nature and nurture working together. This shift has led researchers to explore how these factors interact, rather than focusing solely on their individual impacts. Despite this broader understanding, there remains a significant emphasis on accelerating developmental processes, often driven by the desire to enhance children's educational outcomes. New focus in parenting. Parents naturally want their children to excel, often equating faster development with better outcomes. However, speeding up development can sometimes be detrimental. While academic achievements in subjects like math and reading are important, children also benefit greatly from learning through play. Key observations. Decline in free play. In 1981, children had about 40% of their day available for unstructured play. By the late 1990s, this dropped to 25%, and today, many children have less than 10 hours of free play per week. Recess removal. Many schools have eliminated recess to allocate more time for structured academic activities. However, research suggests that unstructured play is critical for development. Benefits of play. Play allows children to explore, discover new interests, and develop self-esteem, happiness, and creativity. It also supports physical fitness and social skills. Value of unstructured play. Unstructured playtime has been linked to several benefits. Physical fitness. Children with more playtime are less likely to be obese and more likely to engage in activities they enjoy. Creativity. Free play encourages creativity as children invent new games and negotiate rules. Social skills. Play that is child-directed helps improve social skills as children learn to interact and solve problems independently. Tips for encouraging play. 1. Prioritize free play. Ensure your child has several hours of unstructured playtime each week. 2. Follow their lead. When playing with your child, let them choose the activity and guide the play. 3. Be patient with boredom. Initial boredom can lead to creative play as children find their own activities. Choosing the right school. Parents now have more options for selecting schools, including those that emphasize play and free choice. These schools often incorporate significant time for unstructured activities, which research suggests is beneficial for learning. Despite this, such schools may seem less rigorous compared to traditional models where structured learning is prioritized. Balancing control and learning. Educational goals. Schools and parents must balance between controlling learning and allowing children the freedom to explore. This balance impacts the breadth and depth of a child's learning experience. Necessary knowledge and skills. Education today often demands that children acquire extensive knowledge and skills by certain ages. However, if children spend more time in free play, the focus of their learning needs to be adjusted. Trusting children. Research indicates that allowing children to direct their own learning can lead to deeper and more meaningful learning experiences. While parents may push for certain academic skills, fostering an environment where children can explore their interests can be equally important. Tips for parents. 1. Encourage development without accelerating. Support your child's growth without rushing their progress. 2. Focus on play. Spend time on age-appropriate, play-based learning rather than pushing early academic skills. 3. Preserve playtime. Ensure children have unstructured playtime and let them guide their own activities. 4. Support self-directed learning. Encourage self-directed learning both at home and in school. Suggested reading and resources. Hirsch-Pasek, Gulinkoff, and Ayer. Einstein never used flashcards. Questions to consider. 1. What skills are more challenging to learn outside of a structured school environment, and how can schools help meet these educational goals? 2. Can exposing children to a variety of activities lead them to naturally develop healthy, active, and fulfilling lives? Activities to try. 1. Play together. Schedule weekly play sessions where your child chooses the activity. 2. Explore outdoors. Take walks and explore natural environments with your child. 3. Observe play. Observe children during recess to appreciate the benefits of free play. Recommended equipment and materials. Instead of specific educational kits, provide materials that allow for open-ended play, such as a large collection of Legos or other versatile toys. This supports child-directed exploration and creativity. This lecture highlights the profound value of allowing children the time and space to grow at their own pace through unstructured play. By focusing on creating opportunities for free play and trusting children to lead their own learning, parents and educators can support more holistic and effective development.